Today I'll be reviewing Boruto episode 42, A Ninja's Job. So we finally got the episode we've been waiting for, the Catching Cats episode, and that was the highlight of this episode, obviously. Just kidding. So I've been joking about that for a while. I've just been waiting for them to go on this cat mission because they've been bringing back so many things from Naruto Part 1. I knew they would do this eventually. I've just been waiting for it and have been making jokes about it in my reviews, knowing this was coming. But the real center point for this episode was actually what made this episode worth watching. It might seem like filler to some people, but Boruto did get character development and they touched on a real world topic, which also made this episode interesting. So after their cat mission, Boruto starts complaining about all the boring missions he's been going on, and he goes to the lady in charge, kind of like what Naruto did with the third Hokage. I mentioned that in my last review too. So Konohamaru explains that his first mission was a really rare one, and in the past they could happen at any time, but since they live in an era of peace, they're going to be going on lots of their boring missions. So afterwards, Boruto goes to pick up a game with Mitsuki, and he sees Kiba and Rock Lee on TV, and Mitsuki points out that they're always the one to get things done quickly. And I'm pretty sure when he mentions them, he means all of the Kahuna 11, not just Kiba and Rock Lee. And Rock Lee's just flexing, and Kiba still thinks he's important for some reason. So Boruto goes to pick up his game, and then Sarada shows up to tell them that they have a mission with a man who barricaded himself inside of a bank. And Boruto's thinking it's a really important mission, but then when they get there, it's actually just some guy committing suicide or contemplating committing suicide, and he doesn't really take it all that seriously. And when they get there, they meet the police captain, and he actually knows Sarada, and he actually wants her to become part of the Leaf Police Force, like how the Uchiha once were. And I can actually see her doing that one day, simply for the reason of getting the people of the village to know her, aside from missions. But there's also a chance that she'll follow in Sakura's footsteps and become a medical ninja. Hopefully not, because I feel like she deserves to be more than just some medical ninja. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have the skill. I think she should have the skill, but hopefully it's not her main thing. But since she's an Uchiha, we don't really have to worry about her becoming some medical ninja specialist. Because, this story has more Uchiha backstory than does any other clan. So let me get back to the episode. So their mission becomes to talk to this guy to get him to stop committing suicide or to keep him from committing suicide. So Boruto just walks in or breaks in to go talk to him and even lets the guy tie him up because he can tell this guy isn't really all that serious or he doesn't really have his act together or something. So the guy explains what led him to do this and he tells him that his boss was overworking him and then blackmailed him and then fired him and said that he leaked company information so that no one else would hire him. So his boss was a villain, literally a villain. This guy so the guy was going to complain because he was being overworked and because he had a problem and this guy blackmailed him by firing him and saying that he did this and that so that he wouldn't be able to get any other job. So the guy went into debt, and it's all because of him. All because of his boss. His boss basically ruined his life. He fired him, and then he ruined any possible chances of him getting another job. This guy literally sounds like a villain. So then the guy tells Boruto that he was happy that people enjoyed his game. Even if he had to struggle to make it, he was happy if people enjoyed it. And Boruto thinks about what he said earlier and realizes that he was only going on missions for his own personal gain, not thinking about the help it would have provided other people. He said there was no incentive unless there was glory, basically. So now he can see that he shouldn't just be doing missions for glory, they're to help other people. But then, right before the guy decides that he was going to kill himself, Boruto tells him that he actually likes the game he created. And the guy starts crying because this is the first time he's ever heard anyone give him any sort of appreciation for the game, since the company he was working for was taking all the credit and not putting like the creator's name anywhere. They were overworking him and he wasn't getting any credit and they were blackmailing him, and this is the first time he's hearing someone give him thanks for his game. So obviously he's gonna start crying. He's been working on these games for who knows how long. He's not been getting enough credit. He's been overworked, and he finally hears someone. He's been overworked to the point where he's thinking about committing suicide after his life has gone downhill, and he's in debt. He has no job and can't get any more. Then someone finally tells him that they enjoyed his game. Boruto's words literally saved him at that moment. Like if Sardo or Mitsuki went in, they probably couldn't have said the same. Imagine you're like a writer or something, and this is the first time you're hearing that somebody actually loves your work or something, or reads all your books, and you're thinking you never get any sort of appreciation or fans, and you're just pushed to the breaking point, and someone just tells you that they love your stuff. That would pretty much save you and give you the motivation you need to write. So yeah, that was a pretty impactful scene if you think about it. So the guy says he won't kill himself, but the button stops working. It would have been really dark if he died just like that, though. So Boruto gets him a job at Denki's company, and that's that. And at the end of the episode, Boruto says that he'll do any job now, and says that even if there's no glory, a job still has value. And that was probably my favorite line in the entire episode. And after that, Konohamaru was told that someone instigated the suspect to barricade himself inside, and they even told him when security wasn't around, which means they probably have some sort of a spy inside of the village. And the episode ends with the security guard telling the other main security guard captain about something. So it looks like this arc is going to continue. I thought maybe this would be like a one episode thing, but it looks like it's going to keep going on. So this episode was it did its job. It was a great episode if you can see its value. If you're looking at it at maybe face value, it might just seem like filler and this guy was being silly, but if you look at it from a real world aspect, this was a really good episode. So Boruto got character development and realized that missions aren't just for glory, and we got to see his reaction to someone contemplating suicide, which was him getting a look at the real world. This episode also covered real world aspects like people being abused by their jobs and then being blackmailed into shutting up, and how a man wanting to commit suicide and how he changed because of one man's words to him. We also got future setup for a villain or a group based on what I saw at the end of this episode. And in the preview, they're called the Byakuya Gang. And those guys are scum. I already hate them. There's no getting past that. Like, no matter what happens, I'm never going to like these guys. I'll never be able to see why they would try to force this guy to barricade himself in the bank and committing suicide. And in the preview, we can see that they went by and left a paper bomb right in this kid's hand. So it looks like these guys are some really scum-like villains. And the fact that I already don't like them must mean that they must at least be good villains. So since they're turning this into an arc, I'm guessing this is going to be the last thing before we get to the Boruto the movie stuff. And thankfully, arcs don't go on for that long in this anime, or in Boruto at least, because these arcs are only like 5 episodes at a time, except for the Academy arc, or the first part of it with Sumire. That's the only arc that went on for a really long time. But other than that, they've all been like 5 episodes, even the good ones. Like Sarada's, even though that was 10 chapters in the manga. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode in the comment section below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thanks for watching, and bye.